no. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
It's time for the Postgame show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now let's head out and join B.J. Rains for the Postgame show from Bronco Nation News.
We are live. A collective sigh from all of Bronco Nation. I'm your host, Mike Sanford. I'll be joined by B.J. Rains. In 30 to 45 minutes, we'll allow him to get some post-game interviews, talk to some players, talk to Coach Danielson. After a disappointing but encouraging week 2 result at number 7, Oregon, a 37-34 loss as time expired, game-winning field goal by the Oregon Ducks. This game felt weird. Now, I want to allow all of Bronco Nation to crawl into the comment section, whether you're watching on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, we love it. Make sure you like this. Subscribe to Bronco Nation News. But what a dang letdown that game was. It was there for the taking. Oregon tried to give the game away. 2 very strange fumble plays in that second half that allowed for Boise State to do what they do, and that's to have Ashton Jeanty in this offensive line go back to work. This week, I had my questions about the ability for Ashton Jeanty in this offensive line to go for near 200 yards yet again, and exactly that happened tonight. The loss is the loss. If you were to go into this season, starting out the beginning of the year, and you would say that we were going to beat Georgia Southern, as in Boise State. I'm an alum, so I can say we. If we were going to beat Georgia Southern 56-45, everybody would been like, I don't love that score line. But you would have been, okay, you got the win on the road, a bowl team in the Sun Belt Conference. But you would have been confused by that score line. 45 points given away to Georgia Southern wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. But you would expect a win. You would expect a Boise State win. You didn't maybe like how that win went. But then you fast forward a week later and you're at Autzen Stadium and you hear Boise State up 34-27 in the fourth quarter against number 7 Oregon. Would you take it? Losing 37-34, would you take it? And I'd venture to say, yes, you would take it. So you look at these two different games. The result probably anticipated in terms of the win and the loss by a majority of college football prognosticators. One against Georgia Southern where 45 points given up. That doesn't make a lot of sense against Georgia Southern. And then another where 34 points scored by Boise State. Ashton Jeanty yet again eclipses the 150-yard mark. 3 touchdowns yet again. But it was just there for the taking. And when you watch this game and we go through it, and I want to go through real quick, one of the controversial calls from this game, I was watching it closely. There is no question that on the kick return to be the game tying touchdown to make it 34-34 in the fourth quarter, that the ball was fumbled shy of the goal line. However, a very heady Oregon teammate, not the ball carrier, not the kick returner, he scooped the ball up in the end zone. And so I went back and I looked at a rule from the NCAA rule book. And here's what the rule says. Ball carrier, and they used an example here. A33 is running toward team B, so team Boise State goal line. He drops the ball just inside the 1-yard line and thinking he has scored a touchdown, circles through the end zone, runs to his team area. There is no touchdown signal by an official. The fumbled ball hits the ground just outside or just inside the goal line, rolls along the ground in the end zone, and is declared dead there when it comes to rest and no player attempts to recover it. That's assuming that no player attempts to recover it. Ruling would be touchdown. The ball belongs to the team last in possession at the dead ball spot. By definition, an awarded fumble in the opponent's end zone is a touchdown. Now, had Boise State been the team that jumped on that kick return for a touchdown, that would have been a turnover and a touchback. Boise State ball up 34-27. But Oregon made the play to be heads up, grab the football in the end zone. At the very strangest of officiating, it probably would have been ruled dead at the 1-yard line. But the rule here clearly states that in that scenario, it would be ruled a touchdown. This game, it really did come down to the dominance of the continued dominance, which is a great sign for Boise State's season in the hopes that this team can run through the Mountain West Conference slate. But the domination of this offensive line, the domination of this ground game, looking at the final stat line here, particularly in the trenches for Boise State. Boise State just flat out won the trenches. And it wasn't, in my opinion, particularly close. So Boise State finishes, we'll just go team stats, finishes the day with 221 yards rushing, 33 rush attempts, 6.7 yards per rush. Dan Lanning, happy to get out of this game against Boise State with a win. He is going to be gnawing through his knuckles with a performance like that from his defensive front. A defensive guy, a guy that understands front play, a guy that understands run fits. This Georgia Southern performance a week ago was no fluke. This Boise State offensive line, this Boise State running back crew, led by the best player in college football, Ashton Jeanty, is the real deal. Let's look at Ashton Jeanty's his score line. 25 carries, stat line, 192 yards, 7.7 yards per carry against the number 7 team in the country on the road, a team that I said on Ball Talk on Wednesday night, a team that is built to stop the run. you didn't get it done, Oregon. 3 touchdowns for Ashton Genty. Steyer Gaines added 6 carries for 22 yards at 3.7 per carry. And Maddox Madsen with 2 carries for 7 yards. In college stats, they do include sacks in that. So 2 carries for 7 yards, along being 8, which means that the only sack given up by this offensive line in 40 pass attempts was a 1-yard sack of Maddox Madsen. Now, we have to talk about the reality. Now, the eyeball test of watching the pass game of Boise State against a very, very talented Oregon secondary, I sat there and thought Maddox Madsen played good football. He had times in the game where it seemed like he was making good throws. He gave his receivers chances to make a play. The reality of Maddox Madsen's day is he was sub 50%, 17 of 40, 41% completion, 148 yards, and yards per attempt was only 3.7, 1 touchdown, but no interceptions. I believe that Maddox Madsen, this offense, and we'll get to the defense here in a second, gave this Boise State team a chance to do what Vegas thought was unthinkable. Oregon goes into this game as a 19-point favorite, a 19-point home favorite, in one of the most hostile environments, riding a 33-game non-conference home winning streak. And Boise State goes in and takes them to the woodshed, to the very, very final whistle of the game, the last snap of the game-winning field goal with time expiring. Would you take it? The problem in this game was special teams. And I made a commitment in my first week of Ball Talk that no matter what my friendships are, no matter how I see things, my job being on Bronco Nation News is to give you, the viewers, our followers, the best information. And at the end of the day, Boise State's defense was the most improved unit from week 1, giving up 45 points at Georgia Southern, all purely defensive points allowed. No special teams points allowed, no pick sixes, no scoop and score fumbles from Boise State's backs or quarterbacks. 45 points were allowed by Boise State's defense. Today, 23 points were allowed against the Oregon Ducks. 23 points by this Boise State defense. And where I think that this game was so damn impressive from Boise State's defense, third down efficiency defensively. They got off the field on 8 of 12 third down opportunities. Oregon converting only 4 of 12 at 25%. That is absolutely elite defense. Oregon rushed the football behind an offensive line that only NIL, big NIL money could buy, behind running backs that take the football with incredible athleticism. Jordan James, Whittington, they had 109 rushing yards, and majority of it came in that final drive to put the game away. You know, Dylan Gabriel had a really interesting game. The eyeball test of Dylan Gabriel would be such that he didn't play great, but he was efficient. I don't think Oregon took a whole bunch of shots down the field. And when there were players open, those were just a few of Boise State's or of Oregon's missed opportunities. Dylan Gabriel's missed opportunities where he missed on some downfield shots. Dylan Gabriel was 18 of 21, 243 yards passing, and his 3 incompletions, 2 of which I know for sure were touchdown type misses, overthrows in that fourth quarter. He averaged 11.6 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no interception. Now, Boise State ends up coming away in this game. Neither team threw any interceptions. Oregon turned the football over twice. 2 fumbles, one caused by a humongous hit by Zion Washington to jar the ball loose, and then another with a Dylan Gabriel backfield, kind of a snafu in the backfield. But guys, the reality of this game, and we have to go through this right now, is the scoring summary for this game. First quarter, 9 minutes and 29 seconds remaining. Jonah Dalmas, 42-yard field goal, good. Of course it was. Jonah Dalmas. 3-0 Boise State. Oregon, 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first quarter. Dylan Gabriel run for a 1-yard touchdown. Oregon up 7-3. Second quarter, Ashton Jeanty run for a 3-yard touchdown. Back and forth. It's a theme that we're going to see throughout the course of this game. Boise State 10, Oregon 7. Dylan Gabriel pass complete to Evan Stewart. Downfield throw for a touchdown. 14-10 Oregon. 4:51 left in the second quarter. Maddox Madsen pass complete to Cam Camper for a 17-yard touchdown. 17-14 Boise State. 2 seconds left in the second quarter, winning the middle 8, those 4 minutes before the expiration of the half, and then the 4 minutes starting the second half. Jonah Dalmas, 20-yard field goal, good. Boise State up 20-14. Third quarter, touchdown Oregon. 9 minutes and 9 seconds left to tie the football game up after a missed PAT. Dylan Gabriel pass to Holden for 59 yards for a touchdown. That particular play, a cover 0 blitz. Dylan Gabriel gets to a good check, throws a great slant, and Holden was fast, to say the least. 20-20. Third quarter again, Oregon won the third quarter, 14-0 in that particular quarter. Ferguson Reynolds punt for 47 yards. T. Johnson returns it 85 yards for a touchdown. First special team snafu. Oregon up 27-20. Boise State, though, comes right back behind Ashton Jeanty. 70 yards for a touchdown. That particular touchdown run, I didn't think that Ashton Jeanty in the open field, 70 yards against Oregon speed, would be able to not only finish in the end zone, pull away from the secondary of Oregon. He did. He's the best player in college football. He's their best running back in college football. He is, after today, the Heisman frontrunner in college football. 27-27, Boise State, Oregon tied up. 13 minutes and 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, Ashton Jeanty run for 8 yards for a touchdown. 34-27, his third touchdown of the day. 10 minutes and 15 seconds left. Boise State's up 34-27. Jonah Dalmas, kickoff immediately after. 65 yards, Whittington return for 100 yards. Whittington fumbles, recovered by Lamar for a touchdown. That's the play that was in question. Oregon 34, Boise State 33, PAT is good. And then finally, 2 seconds remaining, field goal, Sappington, 25-yard field goal, good. If you think that I'm reading that because I wasn't watching the game, I was watching the game, okay? I wanted to read that because this game was lost by special teams. 1 punt return for a touchdown, not good enough. Punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown, not going to win you a football game ever against anybody in college football. If Boise State had given up 2 special teams touchdowns in the previous game against Georgia Southern, the season opener, Boise State loses that game. That was the difference in the game. Maddox Madsen, was he good enough today? I think he was okay. I think he was good enough because you have the offensive line, you have the running back position, you have Ashton Jeanty, you had a defense that made incredible strides today. An opportunity to make history. What today would have been, in my opinion, the second best win in Boise State history, only behind the Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl victory. National spotlight, top 10 victory on the road. Heisman Trophy candidate Ashton Jeanty going for just shy of 200 yards and winning this football game. The reality of today and what happened today was Boise State didn't cover his punt and didn't cover a kick. Why? I'm going to get back to the film when I get the all 22, when it's available to me, and figure out why. Is it a matter of heart? Is it a matter of want to? I don't think so. I think Boise State is incredibly deep. It's got a ton of players. just looked at times like it was just leveraging the football, making sure that relative to the blocking unit of Oregon on their return units, one on a punt return, one on a kickoff return, leverage the ball back into your help. Now, the reality of playing a team like Oregon, special teams creates space, and athletes to the caliber that Oregon plays with, they love having the opportunity to run through space. And that's exactly what they did. As we get into this post-game show presented to you by the Blue and Orange store, make sure you get to the Blue and Orange store and get all your Boise State gear. They have a bunch of new stuff. I order all the way from Colorado all the time. But I want to get into this, and I want to have a therapy session, because right now we have 2,400 live viewers watching us. Sorry if my voice is a little bit hoarse. I called the CSU UNC Northern Colorado game earlier today. CSU won that game 38-17. But I want to get to some of your guys' questions and comments. So keep those questions, keep those comments coming. Here's the first one that I think is very valid. I am concerned about losing two starting offensive linemen. I appreciate you for writing that, Lendell. I am too. But there's depth in this offensive line. I do think that the Mason Randolph injury did hurt Boise State, particularly in pass protection. I saw several examples where Maddox Madsen had Oregon interior defensive linemen really on him within his third step of his drop, stepping into the pocket. It does make it challenging. But I do think that, we'll wait to see what Spencer Danielson says post game. Let's keep going here. We have Caleb Johnston writes a little bit late to the chat here. Could have already been said, but why in the world are we passing the ball on second down and third down with the best running back in all of college football? Dirk Cutter lost this game. I disagree with that. I really do. I think that while you do want to play to your strengths, Ashton Jeanty ended up this game with he had 25 carries, 192 yards. Could it have been 30? Maybe. Part of what makes a run game successful is balance. When you do have the threat to pass the football, and 40 attempts for Maddox Madsen might be on the high side, particularly in a game where you weren't chasing points throughout the course of the game. But I don't think that running the football every single play, particularly on second and third down, and if it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7. Converting those 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 7s against an Oregon defensive line is not the easiest task that you could possibly take off there. Great point here, Kurt Blake. How much money did Las Vegas lose tonight? Well, if they had a lot of people riding with Oregon and the 19 points that they were favored to win, they probably lost a lot of money. But if you didn't watch earlier today, the CU Buffs, the team that I was previously associated with as a coach, 95% bet on CU to not only win or win in the money line. So Vegas is doing just fine. I'd like to hear this one right here. The refs were awful. They were blind to many PIs from the Ducks. I tend to disagree with that. I think a perfect example of that is the final PI of the game that was called on Boise State. That was a clear PI. And one thing that I came away from the Georgia Southern game looking at, and overall this defensive unit for Boise State played so much better. But that PI late in the game, which ultimately led to the field position change, 15 yards, getting closer to a game-winning field goal. If you watch the technique used by Boise State, it was blanket coverage, arm wrapped around, not playing the football, whereas I think Oregon was making an attempt to lean on the receiver from the DB position, look up for the football, and then make a concerted effort to play through the ball. I didn't see that. I would love to hear anybody else jump into the comments here and make any comments about what you thought from an officiating standpoint was flawed today. Targeting call. Yeah, so I tweeted out. I was live tweeting that particular play, and I don't like the rule. I don't necessarily agree with the rule. I think the quarterback slide component of the targeting rule is so hard for a defender. So like Alexander Tubner finds himself in a position where he's already committed physically, to sweep tackle, which means that you're diving at the feet of a runner, a ball carrier, and that happened to be Dillon Gabriel. Now, when quarterbacks do slide feet first, it immediately drops their helmet down. Tubner's in a lose-lose position, but the spirit of the law is that if you lead with the crown of your helmet and hit the area above the shoulders, so basically neck to the top of the helmet, it's targeting. So, having seen this, having dealt with this in my own coaching career, particularly starting in 2017, 18, where this rule was really strictly enforced, the amount of really impactful defensive players that I've lost in games is nauseating because of Alexander Tubner had no malice, no ill will, no intent to target, but indeed the letter of the law is such that is targeting. It's just what it's going to be. Do I like it? Hell no. Do I agree with it? I don't. I think that there's a little bit of cowardice in the slide at the very last second, dropping down and then kind of playing it off like an NBA basketball player, like you're trying to draw a foul. That's exactly what Dillon Gabriel did. I think the spirit of what Alexander Tubner did was not to have any form of targeting. And if anybody thinks that is wrong, you're gonna keep yelling at your TV screen until you're blue in the face. And if you flip that script and Maddox Madsen takes off and slides, and then a player from Oregon does the same thing, you're gonna look at it and say that's targeting. Now, do you agree with the fact that it's targeting, even if your own team benefits from it? Probably in your heart of hearts, you probably don't, but it is targeting, and that's the rule. It's unfortunate because I think Alexander Tubner is such a critical component to this defense. His tenacity, his will to be around the football. Now, on the flip side of that, Zion Washington was fantastic. This is a player that I have really come to love. And the green dot helmet with the coach to player communication went on to Zion Washington. And I thought he acquitted himself incredibly well. So while I do think that was a turning point play, the Tubner targeting ejection, I thought it was more of a turning point play because of the 15 yards that were gained by Oregon to essentially move the sticks and get within inside around midfield to the 50-yard line. Any other questions? Please jump right here into the to the comment section here. I'd love to continue to have a lot of Boise State fans here. Not targeting that changed the momentum of the game. I entirely agree. Here at UC, I disagree, Coach. He speared him. Can't happen. League wants to protect quarterbacks. Easiest call of the night for the refs. I don't think it was Sky. So Sky's trying to say that it was intentional by Tubner. I don't think it was. I think Tubner had completely committed at the point. You got to realize, guys, when we're watching these plays in slow motion replay, it's easy to sit there and say, why would Tubner have left his feet? Well, Tubner left his feet when he thought Dillon Gabriel was trying to cut back and he was trying to sweep tackle and take his legs out from underneath him. Good point here. Let's see this. No, it was not targeting. We can agree to disagree. I hate the call, but it's the letter of the law. Taylor Green would have won the game. Real talk. We'll never know. We'll never know. Taylor Green has looked good today. Lost in double overtime today to Oklahoma State, I believe. Really competitive football game. Taylor Green has been doing some really good things. Nick Saban made a comment today on one of post-game shows on ESPN about his intrigue with Taylor Green as a player. I agree. I've always loved TG10's Clay. Bobby Petrino has molded it very appropriately. Taylor would have went off. Shame that he was pulled out of Boise. Hindsight, as we all know, is always 2020. But Taylor Green as an athlete would have given you another element, but this run game was already pretty damn good. And so you have to have the discussion, would Taylor Green as a passer been a net positive, a net plus over Maddox Madsen as a positive? I don't know that. Although I have been very impressed with how Bobby Petrino is using Taylor Green. I agree right here, Devo Bronk, that Zion Washington stepped up. Also, 2 starting interior O-linemen out early. Our backups mostly played well. Totally agree. Only one bad snap that Mad Dog threw away. Maddox was 17 of 40. Certainly not good enough, but didn't turn the football over. Did move the chains in some opportune times to create some. You can see on the flip side of this, TG10 was the worst QB in BSU history. I think that some people would think that. I personally thought that TG10 was exciting football to watch because of what he could create athletically, his speed, his ability in the zone read and quarterback-driven run game. But this is a team right now that, in all reality, this Boise State team is 1-1. A challenging road victory against a game team, Georgia Southern, who you beat in their building in Statesboro, Georgia. Georgia Southern goes to a very hot Nevada team that dang near beat SMU in the opening game, an ACC team, although they lost this week to BYU and looked like donkey do. But Nevada lost tonight. Georgia Southern with the win in Mackey Stadium. So you got to feel pretty good about that. Again, bad coach, should have been let go, not made a head coach. Assuming that would be about Spencer Danielson. I thought that Spencer Danielson, as a defensive mind, as the previous defensive coordinator, that's the role that he rode into the interim head coaching job. Won games, got to the Mountain West Conference championship game, won the Mountain West Conference as an interim head coach. This defense had a bad performance against Georgia Southern. That wasn't the case today. So you've got to like what you saw from Spencer Danielson in terms of investing his time on the defensive side of the ball this week in preparation for this game. Oregon athletically does present a slew of problems because of their matchups, because of their quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, is a guy that was a preseason Heisman favorite. He's not going to be in that conversation when this thing all winds down unless he gets a hot hand. Right here, we got, by the way, the best running back in the Mountain West, ran for 50 yards and 0 scores. San Diego State, not too hot. Meanwhile, his counterpart for Boise State, the player I'm not even going to name by name from San Diego State, that said that you can't compare the two of their games. Ashton Genty and San Diego State running back that had 50 yards and no touchdowns. Not a great performance from the Aztecs. Across the Mountain West today, if we look at the Mountain West, which you can scoff at it and say that we are bigger and better than the Mountain West Conference. There is a world that exists where Boise State will have to run the table in the Mountain West Conference to get the Group of 5 bid to be the power or the CFP playoff team to represent the Group of 5. So we'll start out with live score right now. USC is beating Utah State 41-0 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Idaho Vandals, who apparently pretty good football team, played the Oregon Ducks very closely a week ago, 24-14. They beat Wyoming at War Memorial Stadium earlier today, 17-13. Colorado State versus Northern Colorado. I called that game, as I said earlier, but one thing of note that happened, Colorado State wins the game against FCS Northern Colorado 38-17. One thing of note, Torrey Horton was horse collared, but the horse collar was not completed. He pulled up lame, looked like either a hamstring or groin, possibly a knee, went to the injury tent for 6 minutes. So Torrey Horton appears to be either in a position of a 2 to 4 week type of an injury, or it could be something more severe. UNLV continues its role, going to 2-0, beat Utah Tech, formerly known as Dixie State, down in Southern Utah. It's 72-14. San Jose State under Ken Niumatalolo, 17-7, beats Air Force. Knows that option offense. Georgia Southern, we already talked about, beat Nevada at Nevada 20-17. Fresno State was rolling early. Game got a little bit closer against Sac State, wins 46-30 at Fresno State. And then Oregon State, who I believe is not going to be a great opponent on this schedule for Boise State. Of the Pac-2 teams, I like Washington State better. But Oregon State beat San Diego State 21-0 at San Diego State. San Diego State looks like they are in full rebuilding mode. So when you look at this Mountain West Conference, it's going to be very important for Boise State to run the table. Teams like New Mexico, teams like Nevada, maybe preseason didn't look like enticing games or challenging games. Those are programs that look like they're on their way up. Wyoming, on the other hand, looks like a program at 0-2, got absolutely obliterated in their opener against Arizona State, 48-7. They ended up scoring with like 3 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, down 48-0. Wyoming looks like they're not off to a great start. Might not be a great team. The Wyoming fan base is already calling for Jay Sauvel's team. So you could be Wyoming right now. You could be 0-2. And I know we're Boise State. Wyoming shouldn't be compared. But new head coach Jay Sauvel versus new head coach Spencer Danielson, you were in the fight today as a Boise State fan. Boise State's team was in the fight, had a chance to do something that, frankly, it hasn't done in quite some time. Knock off a top 10 type of a team, a college football blue blood. And at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. And why was that? It was 2 special teams touchdowns. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, I will say this. I'm going to call everything the way I see it. And I have a unique set of experiences to talk to you, Bronco Nation, as somebody that has coached in this industry. I know people, and I will say this, that Stacey Collins had a bad day at the office today. I've had bad days at the office, plenty of them. You can ask the Western Kentucky fan base about Mike Sanford. You can ask the Minnesota fan base about Mike Sanford. They're not going to have very, very fond things to say about me. Stacey Collins is a coach that I've worked with. He takes tremendous pride in what he does. Stacey Collins will work whatever hours is required of him to work, not required from Spencer Danielson, but Stacey Collins has a very high standard for himself. He will demand it of the special teams unit. And I don't believe that this will continue to happen throughout the course of the year. I looked at the opening game against Georgia Southern. One of the scores for Georgia Southern was because of a kickoff return that got out to midfield. And I looked at it, I said, that's not characteristic of a Stacey Collins special teams unit. Well, today, caught up to you when it caught up to you. And that's what it was. It was a punt return for a touchdown, kickoff return for a touchdown, 100 yards and 85 yards. You have to think about it. 2 plays, 185 yards on the special teams unit. Doesn't show up on the defensive stats. But at the end of the day, it's 14 points. You take those 2 away, 34-23. And we'll see what happens. Let's get back out to some comments. B.J. Rains finished up with Spencer Danielson and is on his way to join us here. I like this. I like the way this thing starts out. Genuine question, man. All Boise State did was market Malachi to us fans. Hell, I was there at the welcome party at BOI. Why wait to the last second to bench him? What isn't being told to us fans? I don't know. I'm not there. But if I were to guess, Malachi Nelson is not ready to be a Division I FBS CFP playoff team starting quarterback today. Because if he was, Dirk Cutter would start him. If he was, Spencer Danielson would start him. And so that's all I can go off of is to have the idea that right now, Malachi Nelson is not ready. And now what I do think is I do think that Maddox Madsen saw his biggest challenge of the season. I don't think he crumbled under pressure. I don't think that he created any plays that dramatically impacted the game for Boise State in a negative way. Maddox Madsen was a bit of a game manager today, just didn't have the completion percentage that you'd love to see from a Boise State quarterback. The standard from Chris Peterson, from Brian Harsin, myself, the standard at the quarterback position from a completion percentage standpoint is 70%. Now, when you're playing a team like Oregon that plays a healthy dose of man coverage, they come up and take away the easy gifts, something that Georgia Southern didn't do with consistency, play a little bit more soft zone coverage. It makes you have to earn those throws. At times, Maddox Madsen threw some great balls. Other times, was there enough separation at the receiver position? Jump into the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think. Was there enough separation created? Oregon has 5-star DBs. They got some of the best portal transfer entry guys in all of college football. Now, I will say this. I want to talk a little bit. I know nobody here cares about Oregon, but something's wrong with Oregon. That's not a great Oregon football team. It's a talented Oregon football team. And I'm willing to go on a limb here and say that Oregon has the best roster that money can buy. But sometimes paying 18 to 22-year-old individuals to play football and just lining the pockets with hundreds of $1,000s, millions of dollars, I think you're starting to see it on the field for Oregon. There is no way that an Oregon team should play Idaho as close as it did. What was it? A 3.7-point game deep into the fourth quarter. The talent disparity between Idaho and Oregon is ridiculous. Now, I didn't think today that the talent disparity between Boise State and Oregon was nearly as wide as I thought it was. In fact, I thought it was fairly narrow, which shows that got to throw some credit in Andy Avalos and his staff, his original staff, which many of which are still here. But Boise State has done a very good job of building a roster organically through high school recruiting, developing those players. But yeah, I am not on board with Oregon right now. Preseason, I was all in. Dylan Gabriel, I thought was going to be fantastic. Evan Stewart, receiving crew, Whittington, Jordan, the running backs. I thought this Oregon team was going to be absolutely on fire, untouchable. After watching him against Idaho, I was like, felt like a preseason NFL game. After watching him today, their best versus Boise State's best. Boise State, I thought, was the better team. We are now, I can see in the backstage here, we are now joined by B.J. Rains.
There we go. How are we doing, Mike? You got me?
I got you. How you doing, B.J.?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Let me fix one thing here real quick. There we go. Can you hear me now? Got me. There we go.
I can hear you perfectly.
Chiming in from the press box. We just talked to Spencer Danielson, just talked to Ashton Genty, just talked to Zion Washington. We also have about 6 minutes of highlights that our intern right here, come peek in the camera and say hello, Jaden. A little further. There you go. There's our intern, Jaden. He came along on the trip. We got some highlights to play, all kinds of stuff. But man, Mike, over 400 watching on YouTube alone. We got crazy viewership, and awesome job by you kicking this thing. Was your audio better to start tonight? No issues?
Yeah. I didn't mess with it too much.
What a game, though, man. I mean, I know you've been talking about it, and the 2 special teams touchdowns certainly were a killer. But for Boise State to come here on the road and do what they did, I mean, I know there's no moral victories in this thing, but for them to kind of show that they could hang with this team, I don't think it's going to obviously hurt them come end of the season. I think if they win out, I think that, unless obviously some other teams, we'll see what happens. But in terms of the group of 5, I think they're still in a prime position to make a run here to get to the playoff. And, I think Liberty, they're going to have an easy schedule. They may go undefeated, but they played Oregon in the bowl game and lost by like 40 or whatever it was. And Boise State hangs and only loses by 3. So tough loss, really tough, tough loss seeing those guys walking off the field. But to hang in there, I'm sure you talked about it, Mike, but I thought it was a big play at the end of the first half, not getting the touchdown there and having to settle for the field goal with 5 seconds left. That was certainly a play that I thought, maybe on second down you run it, so on third down you can do the pass play. But 5 seconds, is that not quite enough time, I guess, Mike, to try to run one more play? And you get the ball to start the third quarter too. So
absolutely, from a head coaching perspective, you take the points. All the analytics that go behind, scoring before halftime, getting the ball to start the second half, you take the points. But yeah, I don't second guess Spencer on that particular call one bit, not at all. Now, one thing that we did talk about there, you mentioned that you were comparing, kind of playing some scoregami between last year's Liberty Oregon match.
I know it's a different Oregon team. It's not the same.
It's a very different Oregon team. There is something inherently wrong with that Oregon team for as much talent as they have.
Man,
and I don't. I mean, they're winning. They're 2-0. But I kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I thought Dan Lanning kind of played a NFL preseason style of football against Idaho. Oregon's they lack rhythm. They're fairly undisciplined. You know what they play like right now, BJ? They play like a lot of players that have been paid a whole hell of a lot of money before they actually did something for that school.
Yep.
And to be honest, I'm not impressed with Oregon. Frankly, I'm not impressed with much of the Big Ten after the slate today. Michigan looks terrible. Penn State dang near loses to Bowling Green. Ohio State, I think they're okay. I mean, they're obviously really good, but relative to the national landscape, I don't really know what to think about the Big Ten in Oregon.
I agree. And I'm curious. I'm going to be following Oregon closely to see what they do. Cause for them to have 4 sacks, they're up, and then the game changed, man. Those two, Zion Washington, and then with the strip, and then the 70-yard touchdown, and then you do it again, and all of a sudden you're winning the game. And this place was just silent, and then you had the lead for 30 seconds because you give up the kick return touchdown right away to let them tie the game. And so, yeah, I don't think this Oregon team, if they were redoing the rankings, would be ranked, 3rd last week and then 7th this week. It is what it is. But
there it is. Comment right there. That is 100% going to be the most challenging game left on the schedule.
They just need some home games, man. Two road games to start the season, and then now they get the bye and they have 3 home games in a row. So this is a nice stretch here. One of those is the Washington State game in this stretch where they can try to get back on track. But you've been reading the comments here for 45 minutes, and I know we still have a huge gathering. What is the pulse of Bronco Nation? Are you guys mostly okay with this, feeling pretty good and happy with the direction and think this is going to be a damn good team? Or are they all, we gave this game away and they're super ticked off?
Yeah, I laid it out, BJ. I thought the most improved unit maybe in all of college football from Georgia Southern from week 1 to week 2 was the Boise State defense. Read through the stats. Overall, very impressed with the pressure that was created. Dylan Gabriel, the numbers were good, but they weren't like mind-blowing. And to be able to hold Oregon to 109 yards rushing when Dan Lanning, it looks like mandated that Oregon run the football and control the clock against what he viewed to be an inferior opponent. Mm-hmm. Boise State held their own. And up until that last drive that sealed the game, Oregon was kind of hovering around the 70 to 80 yard mark of rushing, finished the game with 109 yards rushing. I was so impressed with some of the improvements that were made on the defensive side of the ball by Boise State.
And that's what's so tough to take, because Spencer Danielson, he apologized to Bronco Nation. He said, that's a game we got to win. But there were a lot of improvements with the defense. I think I have the final numbers here. You look at the third down improvements that they made. I know the numbers changed a little at the end, but they were, Oregon was only 4-12 on third down, Mike. After last week,
they converted 25%, man. You got to think that Boise State got off the field on 75% of third downs on defense.
4 of 12. Yeah. And you go down the line here. Dylan Gabriel, he was 18 of 21, but the thing was, I think they got 70% of their yards on 3 plays, just those explosive plays. And I guess that, Mike, is when you do face what you expect to be an explosive offense, that's as what Spencer's phrase, the razor's edge for the defense. You could have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 great plays in a row, but you give up 170-yard pass and all of a sudden that's it. And the stats are skewed, and there's just still too many, even though they made a lot of improvements, still just too many explosive plays that this defense is giving up, particularly in the passing game right now. Yeah,
but BJ, if you take away the two, I think that in our minds, right, as fans, and you and I are talking about, 2 of those explosive plays were special teams touchdowns.
Yep.
If you take those, that ended up equaling 185 yards of production and
Yeah.
14 points.
But they had the 59-yard touchdown pass. They had a 34-yard touchdown pass. I mean, they had a couple long pass plays in there as well. They had a they had a 67-yard pass, a 59-yard pass. I mean, they had some long passes in there. But yeah, this comes down to and by the way, we'll play the clip here in a minute. Stacey Collins, they paid him a lot of money to get him to leave Penn State and come back to Boise State to coach the special teams. I know you know him well. Spencer Danielson said we have the best special teams coach in America. We just have to, have guys that have to win their matchups and make plays. And so he stood behind him. He did say that, obviously that can't happen. The second one is the killer, man. You just took the lead. They're going into the wind. So you're wondering, are they trying to kick it out of the end zone or why are you letting that guy return it? And right after you get the lead, and this place is silent, Mike, to just give it right back with the, I mean, that's just, that one was tough, man, to give it right back.
It was, yeah. Brian here, Browning. I know everybody's really angry. I did
what you said.
Well, no, I said that Boise State's defense got off the field on 75% of the third downs that they defended.
Yes.
So yeah, you have to look at it from a defensive perspective. Yes, Oregon converted successfully, only 25%. 100 minus 25 equals 75, which is how many times Boise State's defense got off the field.
Let's see here. Forever the Stacey Collins game. Breaks my heart to say it, but it's facts. Mike, you know Stacey Collins very well. You coached with him, I believe, at Utah State. Again, they put so much emphasis on special teams this year. They have a logo, the SWAT, team logo they have, and they put all these starters on special teams. And for them to give up 2 special teams touchdowns and really, I mean, they win this game by double digits if that doesn't happen. I mean, knowing Stacey Collins the way you do, how tough is he handling this right now?
Very tough. I mean, one thing about Stacey Collins that I know, he's not a guy who's going to point fingers. He's not going to blame people. He's one of the people that I respect the most in this industry, and coaching that I think is so shady, and so many people like to throw others under the bus or throw players under the bus. He won't do that. He realized that he's the one that's paid to do a job. And if there's another kick return or a punt return for a touchdown on this season, we'll say at least this 12-game regular season, I will be shocked, BJ. I will be absolutely shocked.
I can't. You've had a really long day, Mike. We both have, and I'm gonna let you go if you want, and I can play the interviews. But we both were wrong. 4 of 12 is actually 33%. 4 of 16 would be 25%.
Now you're talking there, Brian. Brian,
you got to give us some credit, guy, or give us some slack. This guy's already called an entire game. Is not 25% is what he's meaning. Now they're saying 4 of 12. 4 of 12 is 1/3. Now you were thinking 4 correct and 12 wrong is what you were thinking. So 16, 4 of 16.
Yeah, 66.6 repeating percent of the time Boise State got off the field on third down. I stand corrected, Brian.
How did
I believe in accountability, and I was wrong. So
dude, you've been up and working for 14 hours or whatever. I mean, how'd the altitude broadcast go?
It was great. We had absolutely no audio 3 minutes before the game started. So I'm getting ready to call my first TV game, and there's nothing. I can't hear the play-by-play guy. I can't hear the producer back in San Francisco. Pac-12 Networks was producing the game. So, I just kind of raw dogged it, BJ, and it went pretty well. I had a lot of fun. We never got our audio figured out the entire game. So,
my gosh.
It was literally as bad as you could possibly imagine in terms of the circumstances.
Well, I know it's archived on the Mountain West Network, so I can't wait to go back and listen. Somebody is asking about the kickoffs, Mike, and why Jonah Dalmas is not doing the kickoffs. They switched to the other kicker, and now I don't have my notes in front of me, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I forget who it is. I think it's Schutt or Schult. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. But Spencer was asked about that in the postgame press conference, and he said he gives us the best chance to kick it out of the end zone. So I think they feel like he's got a stronger leg. I don't know what the answer to that is. But yeah, Jonah Dalmas is not doing the kickoffs, and that did, that's obviously notable on the 100-yard return there for the kick return touchdown. But
yeah, if you go back to last year, BJ, I mean, I think a fairly high percentage. I don't have the numbers in front of me, and I didn't study the Jonah Dalmas 2023 touchback numbers. I apologize, but just to the naked eye, it looks like Jonah Dalmas was putting a lot of balls through the back of the end zone last season. So
yeah.
so
candid trader right there agreeing with you. Yeah, I don't know.
and then JFR, the punt it's a punt. It's there's really nothing up about that one. You just got to cover the kick, and you got to leverage the ball, and you got to know where your help is and leverage the ball back to your help. Now the speed of those two returners, Holden and Whittington, are next level type speed.
Okay, I want to ask you about the quarterback. I'm sure you talked about this already, but Maddox Madsen, again, 17 of 40 tonight for only 148 yards. There's a couple people asking about him, and then someone saying, why are we throwing the ball 40 times with a Heisman Trophy candidate at running back? Overall, I thought Maddox played great the other day. I did not think he played great tonight. Not super unexpected against the top 10 team on the road, but I didn't think he played great. And the average, to have 40 attempts and you only end up with 148 yards. I mean, you're under 4 yards, per attempt. Only did get sacked once, but overall, and Spencer said after the game, the passing game needs to be better, but it's a lot more than just the quarterback involved in that. What was your take? 17 of 40 for only 148 yards for Maddox Madsen.
Yeah, if I hadn't checked the stat line, I think I checked it in early mid fourth quarter. I actually thought he was playing well as a game manager because he is that, BJ. He's a game manager. I thought he had some critical third down conversions. I think the third down percentage on the day was fairly good. Was it near 50% for Boise State offensively?
Third downs?
Yeah, for Boise State on the
they were pretty good on third downs. They were let's see here, 9 of 19.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And let's not do our math so we get crushed on that again.
Just shy of 50%. I know that because 10 out of 19 would be above 50%.
There you go.
9 out of 18 would be 50%.
Yep.
So I think this. I think Maddox Madsen from the eye test didn't turn the football over. Didn't have any just game wrecking type plays.
Yeah.
I just don't think that. I don't think he was great today, but I personally don't think he was great against Georgia Southern either. I think he was good. He was good against Georgia Southern. I thought he was average today. Average. Against a team that was playing a ton of man coverage, was forcing Boise State to create separation at the receiver position. Was there a lot of separation consistently? No. Should there be? Oregon spends a lot of money on their corners and their safeties and their nickels.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that it was what it was. It wasn't great. And it certainly wasn't terrible.
So, obviously a lot of people in the chat here are saying time for number 7. Is it still Maddox Madsen's team? Do you at some point in the Portland State game see what Malachi Nelson has if you're up big, or what do you think of the quarterback position you're going for? I don't think Maddox Madsen was bad enough in these first 2 games to, in my opinion, lose the job if you gave it to him before those first 2 games. But any kind of QB battle or controversy here moving forward?
I think BJ and I had answered a couple questions about Maddox, like why Malachi Nelson's not playing. And in my heart of hearts, not knowing a thing, not talking on the phone to anybody on the staff, in my heart of hearts, I believe that if he was ready to be a starter right now today and gave this team the best chance to be successful, he'd be starting right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think that's the case.
I agree. Should we hear from Spencer Danielson?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Yeah. Do we need to take a break? Have we done any commercial breaks yet?
I have not done a commercial break.
All right. I hate to do this to folks. We need to take a quick commercial break. I can just roll through this myself real quickly and we can move on here. But Western Collective, I hope you guys enjoyed the watch party down there. We appreciate Tyler Shoemaker for coming by at the watch party. Really enjoyed it. My wife and kids were down there. She said it was a great crowd. They had a lot of fun. So your away game watch party headquarters, House of Western, the Bar National there. When you pull in, you turn to the right, House of Western, downtown on Idaho Street. Make that your spot for the away games. $3 Horseshoe Gold Nails. Make sure you pick those up. The Horseshoe Gold Nail and Western Collective, our studio sponsor here at BNN. RoePaint.com, our title sponsor. Check them out, ROEPaint.com. Saw Andy Rowe here at Autzen Stadium. All your painting needs, make sure you check out our title sponsor, RoePaint.com. Those concrete coatings, highly recommend those. They can do the interior, exterior residential painting as well. All your painting needs, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics is RoePaint.com. We'll be back with the Tyson Degenhardt Show, I believe, on Thursday this week. Thursday night, the Tyson Degenhardt Show is back on Thursday night, 8 p.m. on Bronco Nation News, courtesy of Idaho Central Credit Union. I saw my boy Clark with ICCU on the field tonight. So ICCU.com, check them out. Best eBranch mobile online banking out there. And again, there's a branch in every corner, but you pretty much don't even need them because you got that one right there in your pocket. Idaho Central Credit Union. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Again, we're going to hear from Spencer Danielson and the players coming up in just a second. BauscherRealEstate.com, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Check him out, BauscherRealEstate.com. And he helped us buy and sell our home, did a tremendous job, him and his crew. So we appreciate them. BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Check them out as well. Shopridleys.com. They got 13 locations in the state of Idaho, others in the surrounding states. And again, you can download that Skip app, save up to 40% off at the checkout line at shopridleys.com. All right, we got do you want highlights first? We want to hear from Danielson. Which direction do you want to go here, Mike?
Yeah, I want to hear Spencer.
All right, so let's see what we got here. Post game, let's bring this back. And then I got to move these into the folder here. And then let's try to bring Spencer Danielson up here. I apologize. You guys, appreciate you on the fly here. I have no idea on the quality of the audio here as well, so you may have to turn your microphones up a little bit. Here is Boise State head coach Spencer Danielson talking to the media after the loss.
You guys hear me okay? Well, we got to find a way to win that game. And that's the thing I told our team. You come to Boise State to be a part of Bronco Nation to go win that football game. But I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our team. We didn't finish the game the way we need to. We need to find a way to win that game. We didn't. We're going to look at it, learn, and grow from it, and we're going to be a better football team because of what we went through tonight. But I am proud of how our team battled. I mean, they don't run from hard work. From January to now, this team doesn't run from it. A lot of times in life, people look for the short line or the easy way. That's not these players. That's not our team. And consistently, back and forth, momentum is created through execution. And even when we're down late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter down, our guys kept swinging, stayed in. That's a testament to their heart and who they are. And we're going to learn and grow from this. Our best football is in front of us. And I think we showed ourselves tonight, even for those people maybe outside that didn't believe in who we are. We got a good football team because we got a group of guys that don't run from hard work, that it matters to them. They're going to do the little things. Now we got to fine-tune it. We gave up too many explosive plays. You can't give up 2 special teams touchdowns and find a way to win a game. But it's things we can fix, and we have to. But I'm proud of our guys. And obviously disappointed in the loss once again. You come to Boise State to win those games. That's why you come here. That's why you come here as a coach, to find a way to win those games. We didn't get it done. We will learn and grow from it. But I'm proud of how our guys kept swinging to the end.
Special teams touchdowns, in particular the second one, right after you were taking the lead, for them to take the kickoff back. Yep. How backbreaking is that on the road to try to get it? Yeah, BJ, it's a great question. Football is a game of momentum. Any big-time explosive plays on special teams or takeaways all create momentum. And it's tough. Once again, all things that we got to look at and fix. And Coach Collins is the best special teams coordinator in the country, and I believe that, and that will not change. We got to fix it up. We got to find the guys that can execute on special teams to win their one-on-one. No different in offense and defense. But it's huge. It's back and forth, and we found a way to take the ball away in the fourth quarter to get the momentum back, to execute, to stay in the fight, because our guys never blinked. They never flinched. Up 6 going into halftime, 0-0 game, came out swinging, lost the lead, takeaway. And then it was a back and forth game. We got to find a way to win those games. And as a coach, it's all on me. And I got to look at how we're practicing, how we're training to fine tune it so we win those football games. You come to Boise State to win games like that, and we got to be better. Spencer, on the second one particularly, was the beginning executed correctly? Do you think about kicking the ball out of the back of the end zone? And something we probably should have asked you back on Monday. Why is Jonah Dalton stopping the kickoffs?
Yeah, Taryn gives us our best shot to kick the ball out of the end zone and give us our best kickoffs, and he's earned the right to do so. We got to clean up our coverage unit. I haven't had a chance to watch on the iPad during the game or on film, but we'll look at it and clean it up. There's going to be a matchup that we didn't execute. It's football. It's black and white. Someone did not win their one-on-one, lost leverage, and it was out on both of them. So we can be better. That's fixable, but we have to. And the best teams learn and grow, keep learning. Our team did improve from week 1 to week 2, but we didn't do enough to win this game tonight.
Obviously, momentum being such a big thing for you.
Say it one more time.
Momentum being such a big thing. The 2 fumbles and 2 recoveries, and how that taking a game at a time.
It's huge. Takeaways, we talk about all the time on our team. Relentless effort, explosive plays, and the turnover margin. That's the 3 stats that I look at, the 3 things that win football games. And those takeaways late in the game, Great job by our defense. I'm proud of how our defense grew in the third downs. I mean, they were 4 of 12 on third down today. Huge. Got to get off the field. The explosive plays on special teams were obviously, huge plays in the game, but we had every opportunity to win that game. We have to find a way to get a stop on defense, get our offense back out there to win the game. And we didn't do that.
What did they tell you on that review after the touchdown? Did he pick it up in the end zone? Or?
Yeah, they were thinking that he dropped it late, and I haven't been able to watch the film. They said he dropped it late, and then they reviewed it and said it was a touchdown.
Spencer Maddox obviously is pretty efficient season opener. Tonight's 17 of 40, and he really kind of struggled to find much rhythm in the second half. How much more do you need out of him when he the way that he played tonight?
Yeah, we got to be better in the pass game. And once again, everyone's going to look at the quarterback, but it's not just on him. I mean, there's some alignments and routes that we need to find a way to go win our one-on-one. So we're going to look at it because we got to be better. I mean, I got to give our hats off to our O-line. I mean, you lose Roger Carrion early in the game. We already, we're without Mason Randolph, so 2 of our better players in the O-line out, and find a way for guys to step up. I mean, Zach Holmes, Tyler Knapp, coming out there and swinging against one of the best fronts we'll see all year. And I mean, Ashton, continues to put on display. He's the best player in the country, and I make no bones about it when I say that. Everything he gets, he earned and he deserves. But I got to give hats off to our tight ends, to our offensive line, because they came together. We got to grow in our pass game, and we'll look at it. I know Coach Cutter, called a great game. We got to execute when numbers are called.
At the end of the first half there, just how badly would you like to have the touchdown instead of having to settle? Maybe it's 5 seconds. Are you thinking about another play?
Oh, yeah. I'm always thinking of going and scoring touchdowns, but I wanted to take points. I mean, there's always parameters for me, and there's, we talked about last week, analytics to win and take, but I wanted to take points. I wanted to, all about win the middle 8. We also got the ball to start the third quarter, so let's get points. Let's make it a touchdown game, and let's go get the ball in the third quarter. But definitely thought about it.
For Ashton, just again, I know you just mentioned him or whatever, but you get that turnover, he rises to the occasion by housing at these 70 yards. Just never ceases to amaze you and see how much you think of his effort. And by the way, Oregon does not give up 200 yards rushing very often at all.
I mean, they're one of the best rush defense in the entire country for a reason. I mean, they're very well coached. Once again, hats off to Oregon. They won the game. I'm proud of how our team battled. I mean, you can see who Ashton is, no matter the spotlight, no matter the game. I mean, he's going to execute who he is.
For now, for 3 months from now, whatever, what's this game and the result coming down to the last second say? What kind of message or statement, I guess, even though you lost, did you guys say about the fact that you were toe-to-toe with the top 10 team?
Yeah. I mean, we got a really good football team. And maybe people outside our walls didn't know that. Like, I believe in our team because of how they work. It's not because of a talented player or a talented group. It's because I've seen our team work. They don't run from it. And I'm proud of them for that. And that's showing up tonight. We didn't do enough to win the game, and so I'm not – we got to find a way to win that game. But we got a good team, and we're going to learn and grow this. We will be better from September 7th because of how we learn. But you can see our team will battle. And anybody that lines up against us, be ready for a Boise State team to keep swinging, and we'll be better even down the stretch. And I believe that. And at the end of the day, I'm proud of how our team came out and swung to the very end. We gotta fine tune the details to make sure we win that football game.
How close do you feel like you are on defense? About half of Oregon's yards came on 3 pass plays. Outside of that, though, you sacked Oregon tonight almost as many times as they were sacked all last year. So how close do you feel like you are on defense?
We're right there.
You said grow week 1 to week 2. How much should you grow?
They did. I mean, they took a big step. I mean, we put a huge emphasis on third downs, and holding Oregon to 4 or 12 is a big deal. And there's even more out there for us. Obviously, the explosive plays is still an issue, so we got to continue to clean them up. The explosive plays on special teams, explosive plays on defense, we got to find a way to eliminate to continue to grow to be the defense we want to. But I'm proud of our defensive staff. They stepped up. We got to find a way to get off the field there at the end of the game. Our defense is built to get off the field at the end of the game, to give our offense a chance to go win that game in 2 minutes. And we didn't do it. We got to look at it, grow from it, and find from all facets how we can get off the field. But once again, I'm proud of how our guys battled. And I keep coming back to that because it's such a fine line. I think sometimes in football is there's no ceremonial losses, right? It's you win or lose the game. And hats off to Oregon. They beat us tonight. But I do believe it shows that we got a good team. And we got a team that will battle and fight. And that doesn't matter. Put the ball down. Doesn't matter what stadium. Doesn't matter if it's at home, on the road. Put the ball down, and I'll take my boys against anybody in the country. That's our team. And I'm proud of it. I believe that God's brought us all here for such a time as this, like it says in the Bible. I believe that. And our team's telling me that when we're out there. Like, our team's talking about belief. Like, our team believes that they can win any game they go into because of what they worked. They put the work in. And I think they have that confidence. Frustrated about the loss, as they should be. But I think they know now It doesn't matter who we play. Put the ball down, and you're going to get Boise State's best every single time.
To have your first 2 games on the road and long travel and just tough games, like just to reset now with the bye and then have 3 home games in a row now. How nice to have some home games.
It's going to be huge, man. We can't wait to get in front of Bronco Nation. I mean, thank you to all the Bronco Nation fans that came all the way out to Autzen to see us play. I mean, that's Boise State. And once again, we got to find a win that game. And I apologize to Bronco Nation. We didn't get it done tonight. But I promise you we're going to learn and grow from it. And I promise Bronco Nation, this is a team you can be proud of that's never going to quit. And we're going to trust each other and keep growing. But can't wait to get back on the blue. Can't wait to play Portland State in 2 weeks. We got a bye week that we got to win the bye week too. I mean, we got to look at these first 2 games, okay, schematically, fundamentally, technically, in all 3 phases. How can we learn and grow from these first 2 games and be better down the stretch? Because we got a great group of opponents throughout. There's not one game coming on our schedule that it's like, okay, we can take our foot off the gas. You don't have that opportunity. The best teams continue to learn and grow and find a way to win every single game they play, and that's this team.
With regards to the explosive plays, what needs to be fixed in the secondary, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to look at it. I mean, usually explosive plays come down to a lack of eye control, a lack of communication, or a lack of execution. We've got to look at the film and go from there and find out once again, especially on defense and special teams, it's all about 11 guys playing together. If one guy's maybe off, it's going to be an explosive play, and that showed up. There were less tonight, but it's still not enough to win a game against a top 10 opponent. And once again, we got to find a way to win that game. And our players are frustrated because they know what type of team we have. And we're going to keep getting better. We're going to keep learning and growing because our team's not afraid of hard work. But I'm proud of our team. And I got to give God all the glory for our team and who they are and who they're growing to be. And we will grow from this.
I just want to ask you specifically about Zach. I don't think a lot of people realize the size of the shoes that he's having to fill with Mason out. There was like one bad snap, and it seemed pretty good outside of that. What do you think of the way that he performed? And is there a plan, I guess, going forward there that you guys know about?
Yeah, I mean, Zach did a great job. We went into the game, putting all our chips on the table with Zach. He did a great job, especially one of the best fronts we'll see all year. Obviously, there's going to be stuff on film to clean up. Talk about a guy that didn't blink. I mean, he went out there and continued to execute, stayed in, and we put a lot. I mean, Mason's one of the best players on our team. Roger's one of the best players on our entire team. Losing both of those hurts, but you can see good teams have guys that step up. They stepped up, and Zach and Tyler, they stepped up. They stepped up and kept getting better, and we're able to move the ball from a run defense or a run offense standpoint a lot tonight. Now we got to make sure we clean up the pass game.
All right, thank you.
Well, there he is, Spencer Danielson, talking after the game, and I mean, Mike, that was a key. I'm sure you talked about it, but you're already without your starting center going into the game. And then like the second or third play, very early on, you lose your starting right guard. I mean, to go in this game without 2 starters, and what I thought the O-line still did a pretty decent job overall. Maddox only sacked once, and he was hurried a couple of times.
It was a 1-yard sack, BJ.
Yep, and he was pressured a couple of times. He was a little bit. There was some pressure, and the holes weren't quite as big for Ashton Genty and these running backs as it was last week. But overall, in this situation on the road, I thought with 2 starters out, the O-line did really well. And it's funny, every other comment on here, Mike, you're looking at them. Some are feeling great. Some are saying the season's over. I got some guy in here saying they're going to be 8-4 at best now. You got all kinds of folks in here with different opinions and thoughts, but overall, I guess just what's your takeaway from this game? And we're going to hear from Ashton Genty, we're going to hear from Zion Washington. I've got some highlights, but it's been a long day for you, so I want to get your final thoughts, and then I'll take over from here, man. After this one.
Yeah, BJ, my final thoughts on this game, first and foremost, is that this was a wasted opportunity. I don't know if it was wasted. It was an opportunity to have a statement victory for this program that frankly hasn't had very many statement victories against blue bloods in college football, and it was there for the taking. Oregon did their part to give Boise State a chance to win this football game to the tune of 2 fumbles, a Dylan Gabriel exchange issue, just basically just fumbling the ball away in Boise State, having the ball in Oregon territory with a chance to go ahead, which they did. But yeah, just the special team snafus, not covering. One thing I didn't love from Spencer's post-game press conference, I love the fact that he stood up for Stacy Collins and said we have the best special teams coordinator in the country. Bronco Nation here on the comments disagree with that wholeheartedly. But if you're a head coach and you're a leader, you want to believe in the people that you hire. But what I didn't like is the fact that he said, we'll find the people that will go cover it. Well, there's also demanding that you play with the right leverage and demanding that you play with the right technique. And that needs to happen. That was the difference in winning a game that Boise State hasn't won in a while. BJ, you've covered this team now for 12 years?
Yep, 12 years.
When's the last statement victory this program's had?
I mean, you wanted to say Florida State at the time, but Florida State obviously didn't turn out.
Was that when Willie Taggart was the head coach?
Yeah, I was.
Dude, that's not a statement victory.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
I mean, this BJ, this was right freaking there, man.
It was.
And what I'll say is that twofold. This team right now, as it stands, should be 11-1 at the end of this regular season. It's not going to be easy though. Washington State's not going to be easy. There are going to be teams. San Jose State might not be easy. Like, you just don't know the way this. Nevada might not be. I mean, Jeff Choate's going to have those guys ready to play. And the fact that the injury bug's already starting to attack the best unit on your football team, the deepest unit on your football team, we'll find out, where Randolph and Carry On are health wise. But that offensive line, if you get it any deeper into some of the injuries, it's going to look a little bit different. And so that's a concern of mine. But I really like this football team. It's by far, in its healthiest form, by far the most talented team in Group of 5 football. And I don't think it's even remotely close. And I said it here before you jumped on, BJ. That is credit to Andy Avalos and his staff for building this roster. I mean, Ashton Jeanty was here. All these linemen were here, and so the entirety of this team was here and developed it. It were developed the right way. And so I just think that Ashton Jeanty is the Heisman front runner after this game. I think that he is going to continue, if he stays healthy, to run through the rest of this conference schedule. His health is paramount. There's no question about it. His health is paramount because you're not going to beat many teams by just throwing the football. I love Sire Gaines. He's an absolute baller. But you saw tonight, Sire was good in relief, but he averaged 3.6 yards per carry. Yep. He's not Ashton Jeanty. And frankly, as much as I want to say that he will be the next Ashton Jeanty is one of one. I mean, I coached Jay Ajayi. I've never coached a running back like that. And even watching Ashton Jeanty, I can say I've never watched a running back do the things that he does. So his health is absolutely paramount. The offensive line health is paramount. Positive growth on the defensive side of the ball from week 1 to week 2. I believe that Stacey Collins in the special teams unit, if the onus falls on the coaches, the paid individuals, to get the things right. Some of it is by making substitutions, but you have to demand and coach and get out of your units what you're responsible for. And I know that Stacey will be 100% accountable to that. But missed opportunity, BJ, was right there for you to take. Oregon was doing their part to cooperate. Boise State just didn't take it tonight.
Well, hey, man, amazing job. Get some sleep. We appreciate you for all your help on the postgame show. Can't wait to go back and watch that Colorado State game. By the way, shout out to Marquez Cooper, our man from San Diego State that said he was the best running back in the league. They get shut out tonight, 21-0, and he finishes with 53 yards on 13 carries, no touchdowns for Marquez Cooper. 53 yards, 13 carries, longest rush of 10, no touchdowns, and San Diego State gets shut out tonight.
Yeah, as Kendrick Lamar says famously in his diss track to Drake, and I'll leave you with this: San Diego State, they not like us.
Appreciate you, Mike. There he is, Mike Sanford. We're going to keep this thing going. We got some highlights to play. We got all kinds of stuff. We still got some more interviews, so we're not going anywhere here anytime soon. There's Ahmed Hassanin. He had a huge sack to get this thing going early. Dylan Gabriel is back-to-back plays. When he got out in the pocket and moved a little bit, you thought, okay, he's going to maybe do some things. Here we go. We got some highlights here. Let's see what we got here. Ashton Jeanty. Nice run there. Picked up a first down. A lot of Boise State fans made the trip here. This was a fun game. Jonah Dalmas getting things started off early. Gabriel going deep. Yeah, that was a killer. That was a tough one. They had a couple really long plays, and the secondary gave up some big plays. There's the fake, and there's the touchdown for Dylan Gabriel at this point. That puts Oregon temporarily back in the lead, but Boise State comes back. Ashton Genty, he scores on the 3-yard run. This puts Boise State up 10-7 early in the second quarter. That makes it 10-7. I guess the extra point. How about the defense, though? Back-to-back sacks. There's Shea Oladipo getting a big sack right there. That was part of back-to-back plays. They had big sacks. Later, another long play, and there's the touchdown. 34 yards. Gabriel to Stewart. This puts Oregon back up 14-10, I believe it was. Another nice sack there from Andrew Simpson. Boise State's defense, again, deserves some credit. They again, some of the long passing plays. I know you guys are pointing out, individual guys that struggled a little bit. And, yeah, they weren't perfect. They're still giving up too many big plays. But overall, I thought Boise State's defense really did make some improvements. And how about this throw? Maddox Madsen to Cam Camper, 17-yard touchdown pass. 4:51 to go in the second quarter. Boise State retakes the lead. You're going, okay. And then Boise State takes the field goal right before half. I would have liked to have seen them maybe go for it there. I don't know what your guys' thoughts were on that, but 5 seconds left. Maybe on second down you run it so then you can pass it on third. I don't know, but I thought that with 5 seconds left there. By the way, that should have been a 3-yard loss on this play, and Ashton Genty took it for 31 yards, I believe. This was his first kind of big run to break out. Nice pass over the middle there to Matt Lauder, moves the sticks. McCoy was hitting tonight. Yeah, he had a big play there. This gets you down to about the 3-yard line. I guess this is right before the half, I believe, where they had a chance. They decided to go for the field goal here. I would have liked to have seen them go for the touchdown. I know if you don't get it there, it's a momentum changer for Oregon. But I still think with 5 seconds, you could have run a play and then got the ball back. And then this was a killer 59-yard pass from Gabriel to Holden. This was 9 minutes to go in the third quarter, tied the game at 20-20. And here's the punt return, 85 yards. That just can't happen. A couple of missed tackles. And then once Mr. Johnson gets out in the open field, you ain't catching him. To the house, 85 yards. 3:57 to go in the third quarter. This puts Oregon in front. And there's the recovery. You're thinking, okay, Oregon's going to score, go up by 2 scores and put the game away right here. But nope, Zion Washington forces the fumble. Boise State picks it up. And the very next play, Ashton Genty gone. 70 yards for the score. And again, shout out Jaden Finch with Bronco Nation News doing a great job getting the footage here on the field in Eugene. 70-yard touchdown for Genty. Boise State takes the lead, or this tied the game, 27-27. You're like, wow, what a turn of events. And then the bad snap there, Dylan Gabriel gets it, trying to make something out of nothing. He fumbles. Boise State gets the ball back. And all of a sudden, you're like, what is going on here? Boise State, early to midway through the fourth quarter, all of a sudden has a chance to take the lead. They're in the corner down there where Boise State's fans were. They're firing up the crowd. Look at Andrew Simpson. He's fired up. This place was silent. And again, Boise State gets down here, and Ashton Genty able to punch it in, an 8-yard touchdown run right here from Ashton Genty. 10:15 to go in the game. And all of a sudden, Boise State is winning 34-27. 34-27 after Ashton Genty pushes his way into the end zone. And again, you're in the, a third of the way through the fourth quarter here, and you're up 34-27. You're feeling good. Defense just has to make one stop. You can put this game away. But no, they had the kick return on the next play, and then they're able to move the ball down the field, get into field goal range, and Oregon wins it at the buzzer on the short chip shot, 25-yard field goal. Oregon celebrates the win. Tough one for Boise State, but again, a lot to be, I know there's no moral victories, but a lot to be proud about if you're a Boise State fan or player. And certainly, a game that you would have liked to have won, a game that, frankly, you probably should have won. Give up 2 special teams touchdowns. I mean, for a good chunk of the game, Boise State was clearly the better team, I think, on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And just to not be able to come away with a win is just a killer. But, again, all I said on the pregame show, which some of you heard, some of you didn't because of our issues with the audio and the signal, and I apologize for that. But I said on the pregame show, just don't get embarrassed. Just don't lose this game by 40 points. Don't have a game like you did in the opener against Washington last year. Just don't get embarrassed. Hang tough, and you're going to be fine. This game's not going to hurt you, and that is what happened. They certainly didn't hurt themselves. But with that said, they could have really, really helped themselves if they had found a way to win this game. I mean, they would have jumped into the top 20. They would have become one of the national stories, a chance to go undefeated, maybe get a bye, maybe even host a playoff game at Albertson Stadium. Like, there was a lot that would have come with a win tonight. So, yes, it's disappointing for Boise State. Yes, you feel like you let one slip away. Yes, you every right to be disappointed, frustrated that you couldn't get this win. But when you look at it the other way, they're still in a very prime position to make the playoff. If they go 11-1 and they're 12-1 with a conference championship, and their loss is a 3-point loss to Oregon on the road, like, they're in. Now, did they leave themselves much margin for error? No. But again, I think a lot of people realistically thought they probably weren't going to win this game, and they didn't, but they lost by 3 instead of the 18 they were supposed to. So overall, I think you got to be pretty pleased with what you saw from Boise State in this one. We got Ashton Genty. We got Zion Washington. We're still taking your comments. We're an hour and a half in. It's 1:15 in the morning back in Boise, and we still got 500 of you watching this live right now. So we really appreciate everyone that is watching this wherever you are, back in Boise or around the world. And we appreciate all of you guys for that. Let's hear from Ashton Genty. First, I do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors. TheSpaTeam.com, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been part of the Boise State home team, and they've been around since 1978. So Rain's family is loving our hot spring spa. You can as well, but if you would prefer something for the game room, they got the pool tables. They got the saunas. My wife's already looking at the sauna. So they got all that good stuff. Check them out online at thespateam.com. And again, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Check them out in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, and Nampa. Lithia Ford of Boise, the fall kickoff sale. Jonah Dalmas right there on the screen, one of 4 football players rocking vehicles from Lithia Ford of Boise. So they got that event next Friday out at Bora High School. We'll be telling you about that, raising money for Bora High School by test driving one of their vehicles. I think we'll be doing the show out there. So check them out, Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com. View that full inventory of vehicles. And again, they're one of Boise State's biggest supporters. Return the favor and get your next car or truck at Lithia Ford Boise. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. My kids got some Taco Bell today after the my younger son had baseball and flag football this morning, and they went to Taco Bell for lunch afterwards and made me jealous there. So they got great food, but they're also hiring. So if you're looking for a job, check out one of the Taco Bell Treasure Valley locations. You can apply for a job, or you can get more information online at TacoBellWorks.com. Transportation Compliance Service, check them out as well. TCS, they're a Meridian-based company helping out folks all over the world. If you're looking for a job and maybe you're thinking of getting into the trucking industry, let Transportation Compliance Service help you out. Transcompservice.com, Transportation Compliance Service. They are the best in the business, and we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. Again, Ashton Genty coming up in just a minute. Zion Washington as well. But our title sponsor on the postgame show tonight, this is the Blue and Orange Store postgame show. Make sure you check out the Blue and Orange Store before that home opener against Portland State in 2 weeks. You're going to need some new Boise State gear. Check out, again, the Blue and Orange Store. TheBlueandOrangeStore.com is the website. You can order online anywhere in the world. Or obviously, if you're in the Boise area, just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there next to Pro Image on the second floor And again, the Blue and Orange store, we appreciate them. They got the shirts, caps, jerseys, bumper stickers, all that good stuff. Check them out online, the Blue and Orange store.com. Breezy Dubar did not get into the end zone, so you don't get your Breezy bundle on Tuesday. But yes, for the first time, it only took 2 games. You do get the Ahmed Hassani 91-cent sack. He had a sack tonight, so on Monday, you can go to Jackson's and get any size fountain drink or coffee for 91 cents, thanks to Ahmed Hassani's sack in the game tonight. So Monday, not tomorrow, Monday, 91-cent coffee or fountain drink, thanks to number 91, Ahmed Hassani, getting a sack. And you got to use your Let's Go rewards or be signed up for Let's Go rewards on Monday. But that's going to be finally. Took a little while, but finally there with Ahmed Hassani and getting the sack. And don't forget about Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out if you're looking for some healthy eating options. They deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. So healthy eating, highly recommend the folks at Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out. We got a lot of comments and things still coming in. It looks like the quarterback battle is what you guys are all wanting to talk about. But I don't think they're ready to make a change on that. I really don't. I could be wrong. You get up big against Portland State. I think the hope is to get Malachi Nelson into the game against Portland State. I don't think he starts, but if Madsen doesn't play great, and he probably will because it's Portland State, but if Malachi were to come into that game and play well, then maybe things happen. But again, you guys are talking about 17 of 40. I get it, 145 yards, whatever it was. Like, he wasn't great tonight. There were a couple drops, a couple nice plays, but overall the passing game has to be better because they're going to start loading this box and make you win some one-on-one matchups, and that just didn't happen tonight. So, the passing game has to be better. 17 of 40 for 145 yards or whatever it was is not going to get it done. 148 yards, excuse me. I shortchanged him for 3. 21 yards is the longest pass play, so really not a lot of explosive plays in the passing game. Connor's saying he was 5 of 19 in the second half. Yeah, that's not good. 5 of 19 in the second half is not good. So I don't think they're ready to make a change at quarterback. I mean, they didn't lose this game tonight because of Maddox Madsen at quarterback. Could he have helped them on some of the drives? I don't think so, but I don't think the quarterback play is what lost them this game tonight. So I think that the 2 special teams touchdowns lost you this game. So if you guys want to focus on the quarterback, Madsen, Nelson, like, go ahead and do that. That's fine. But again, I don't think that's what lost him the game tonight. You could say that he didn't win them the game, but he certainly didn't lose them the game. I don't think he didn't have a pick. He didn't have any kind of just boneheaded plays, no bad turnovers. Would you like to cut more of those third down completions? Yeah, you would have. I really do. But I mean, this game was lost tonight because you gave up 2 special teams touchdowns. So he had 33 yards passing in the second half. Somebody's saying, yeah, he wasn't good. I mean, he wasn't good. He wasn't. I mean, I think that's fair to say. I still like Maddox Madsen. I think that it's really easy to say that's the solution. Let's just go to the folks that wanted Malachi Nelson are just waiting for every chance they get to say we want Malachi Nelson. So they've been kind of sitting around waiting for tonight to be, one incomplete pass or one bad game. Of course, they're all going to say we want Malachi Nelson in there. I mean, that's kind of what that's kind of what you guys were waiting for, the folks that want Malachi Nelson. This is kind of your ammo or whatever. But I mean, you heard Mike Sanford say it, like, they're playing who they think the best quarterback option is. And if they still think, if they have Maddox Madsen out there, they believe Maddox Madsen gives them the best chance to win. So I get that. I get that everybody wants to see Malachi Nelson. He's the exciting guy, but I think you just have to trust the coaches at this point. They still believe that Maddox Madsen is the best option. So I do think it's going to get interesting in the Portland State game, though, because if they get up big and Malachi Nelson gets in the game, and even if it's in mop-up duty and he plays really, really well, then all you guys that want Nelson are going to keep saying, no, he needs to be in there. He needs to be in there. Look at what he did. So I think that potentially the Portland State game could get interesting from that standpoint. Now, let's hear from Ashton Jeanty, Boise State's running back, meeting with the media after the game. Again, turn your volume up during the interview here. I apologize that it's a little low. I wanted to get it up quick, and I didn't have a chance to boost it up. So turn your audio up. Here's Ashton Jeanty after the game.
Questions for Ashton Jeanty? To be right there and have the lead, going in the fourth quarter there, how tough is this one to take?
It's definitely a tough loss, but you win as a team, you lose as a team. But on the contrary, I mean, this gives me all the confidence in the world in this team. Like, we know what type of team we are. We know we can play with the best of the best, but when it comes down to it, we just have to finish games.
Why Oregon does not give up 200 yards rushing very often? Why were you guys able to run the ball so effectively against them tonight?
I mean, O-line. It's the O-line. I can't give credit to anybody else. I mean, we had two. We had Mason go down, and we had Roger go down, but, it's the next man up mentality. And, those guys went in there and they played hard, and, they opened lanes for me like they always do, and I was able to maximize on it.
How special is that moment, man? Zion creates the turnover, and then you take off for 70 in front of 60,000 people. I mean, just how special was that moment for you right there?
Definitely special. I mean, that's my brother. I mean, we played against each other in high school, lived together. So just to see him out there making plays, and then me being able to add on top of it, and change the game is it's amazing to see.
How do you go about controlling emotions in such a flip-flopping game, with special team touchdowns and everything? Just how do you control that?
I mean, that's football. The momentum always changes. I mean, the game can go your way, the game might not go your way, but I say it all the time to my team, like, we just gotta stay level-headed the whole game. We can't be too high on the highs, we can't be too low on the lows.
Well, what does a game, I know you lost, and there's no moral victories, I know, but what does a game like this say to other folks out there when you play right into the top 10 team on the road?
I mean, we are one of the best teams in the country. We fell short tonight, but whoever we play next from here on out, the next 10 games, we are going to dominate and we are going to win.
Gosh, what do you see out of Zach this week? I mean, he's filling in for a really, really good player.
Yeah, he stepped up big time, but I knew he was going to do that. The type of person he is, the type of player he is, he was ready for the moment. The moment wasn't too big for him, and he prepared for this. So he was ready for it, you know what I'm saying? If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready.
After the tough road game last week, tough trip, this one, how eager, how nice is it for you guys to reset here at the bye, but also now with 3 home games in a row?
Yes, I think it's a great reset. Guys get their bodies back, fix the things that we need to fix, and get ready to go attack the next team.
Ash, it feels like you guys have figured out. I mean, you've had a lot of success running the ball this year. Tonight, probably being a little more efficient throwing the football. What do you guys think you might be able to do a little bit better in that area, I guess?
I mean, we win as a team, we lose as a team. So we all can be better. Whether that's protection, whether that's running routes. We just got to be better, simply flat. We have to execute.
Just having a week off, just to think about this, if you guys, would you rather get back right away, or is it good to get a little break right now?
I think the break is needed, for sure. Kind of like I was saying earlier, just to hit that refresh button. Give guys time to get their minds back right, get their bodies back right. It'll be big time for us.
There he is, Ashton Genty. We appreciate him for jumping on. We got Zion Washington as well. I did want to read one comment here. Let's see here. Someone's criticizing me here. BJ blaming the chat while full well driving the Malachi Juice and QB controversy. I don't think I did. I think we tried to tell you guys from early on in fall camp, Maddox Madsen's going to be the starter here. Maddox Madsen took every rep. And I said, I think on this show, I don't even know how much of a quarterback battle it actually is. So, yeah, I mean, I know you guys want to take out your blame on the loss on somebody. And if it's the guy holding the mic doing the post-game show, that's perfectly fine. But I don't think I was driving the Malachi Juice and QB controversy. I think we tried to warn you guys pretty early on in camp that Maddox Madsen was going to be the starting quarterback on this team. So, yeah, I'm just going to say that. Let's see here. You guys are looking at, looks like you're talking about Taylon Green in Arkansas and some of the things going on there. We do have Zion Washington. Zion Washington met with the media. And again, hit the like button on this video. Maybe it's on this side, I think. There's a little thumbs up you guys can do. Help. We have 200 and something of you watching on YouTube right now, and we don't have 200 likes. So if you can, like the video and help us out, we would certainly appreciate that. Madsen isn't the problem, but he isn't the solution, and that is part of the problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. again, would Malachi Nelson be the more exciting pick at this point? Probably, maybe, yeah. But like I said, I don't think, like, if the coaches are still saying Maddox Matteson's the best choice, then Maddox Mattson is the best choice. So I don't, like, it's not that big of a deal to me. That's what the coaches say he's the best choice, and so he's the guy that we're gonna, see out there playing for Boise State here moving forward. So let's see. Let's see what else we got here on some of the chats. There you go. Skyship, appreciate you. Don't address silly takes. You didn't drive anything. Told us straight up Maddox got all the blue reps. Fall camp was going to be the starter. Let's see. Are they scared to hurt Madsen's feelings? I'm not sure. Who would that be? Who the coaches? If they were scared to hurt his feelings, they would. Madsen's feelings. No, they are playing the guy that gives them the best chance to win. I don't know how else to say it, folks. Like, again, somebody on Twitter kept complaining that Boise State's running the ball up the middle every time, and why do they keep doing that? Well, guess what? It eventually popped, and Ashton Genty got a 70-yard touchdown up the middle. Like, I think these coaches know what they're doing, and I think that they are playing the guy that they think gives them the best chance to win. Does that change moving forward? It might. Maybe it does change moving forward, and they get to a spot where they decide that, that they decide that they want to go with Malachi Nelson, but they're not there yet. And I don't think that is really the main. Again, did Maddox Mattson have a great game? No, he was 17 of 40 for 148 yards. I'm not defending Maddox Mattson. He did not play well in this game at all. But I don't know. Like, again, don't give up 2 special teams touchdowns and you win the game. It's as simple as that. So I think you're taking your anger out a little bit on the wrong thing. I mean, he wasn't great. But I don't know. I can't 100% say Malachi Nelson would have done any better. I get it. I mean, would you like to see it? Maybe he could have, yes. And we're going to see it at some point this season. We really are. That's not what – I don't feel like Maddox Mattson lost them the game. I look up and I see 17 of 40. I didn't even realize it was that bad. I mean, there were much bigger glaring issues tonight than the quarterback play, in my opinion. Do I think Boise State will be ranked after this game? Probably not. I don't know how many other teams near the bottom lost. I also don't know how many voters stayed up till 2 a.m. and watched this game and saw that Boise State was hanging tough. I mean, by the way, what does Boise State have to do to get a pass interference call? Like, I thought there were numerous times on those throws. I don't know if you guys saw it on TV. I thought that the referees were allowed, which, by the way, were from the Big Ten Conference. I thought the referees allowed a lot of physical play, I guess you could say. There's Jaden Finch in the background. He's going to the Seattle Seahawks game tomorrow. So he's flying to Seattle with me. We got a 5 a.m. flight, and then we're just staying up, powering through 5 a.m. flight. And then I got coaching my kids' baseball game tomorrow afternoon. This was the only way to get back in time to do that. But I just didn't think it seemed like there was a lot of contact. There was 2 or 3 plays. And I would watch the coaching staff, Spencer Danielson in particular, and there were some plays where he was really going crazy, like, where's the flag? Where's the flag? Where's the flag? And so I thought they let some stuff go there, and then they called one, which, I mean, Irby didn't turn around. I guess you can call that. There was some contact there, like on the last drive, but to let some of that stuff go and then call that one, I thought was a tough one for Boise State. What did you guys think of the targeting call? I'm sure Mike talked about it. I know you guys have talked about it. The targeting call for me, that was a tough one for Boise State. I really thought that was one that you feel bad for Tubner. I mean, that was his homecoming here in Seaside, Oregon, to get ejected from the game for targeting. I mean, that's a really tough way for him to go out. I mean, everyone gets so whatever about the helmet-to-helmet contact, but I didn't think he lowered the crown. I mean, he was actually trying to move his head out of the way, I thought, and then the guy kind of went down and he hit him. So, I mean, maybe it could have been a late hit, but I don't know if I would have called it targeting. I just thought that was a pretty big call there in that spot. And shout out Zion Washington. He took over the helmet communication with Eric Shenander in his helmet. And I agree with Andrew there. I thought it was a late slide, which was part of it. Grand Tetons, the first thing I think I've agreed you've said tonight, it was a total football play. And yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make sour grapes. Boise State didn't lose the game because of officiating. I just thought there was a couple plays where it looked like they were all over some of Boise State's wide receivers, and there wasn't any calls made. So I thought that was interesting. But again, the defense, we're going to hear from Zion Washington. The defense, I thought, made some big improvements. I mean, you still have to get some of the big plays in the passing game out. You had a 67-yarder, a 59-yarder. There was a 34-yarder, I think, in there as well. So they had some long passing plays. But I think that overall, we figured out the math earlier. 4 of 12 is 33% on third down. They did pretty good job there. You take off the 14 points on the return, and you really only gave up 23 points, I guess it was, on defense in this game to Oregon. So I thought you actually had a pretty solid effort from the defense tonight. There's still some things you need to pick up. But I thought overall, aside from some of the big plays, 4 sacks as well, I thought were big. And then the 2 turnovers, getting those fumble recoveries. The first one helps you tie the game. The second one gives you, the lead. So I thought the turnovers that they created. So, the defense is close. I know fans don't want to hear it. They want me to say that Eric Shenander should be fired and all this stuff. I think the defense is pretty close. I mean, I think they showed tonight they can get some turnovers. If they can just clean this up and not give up, 3 or 4 of these big, explosive plays, I think the defense showed tonight that they can be a pretty darn good defense with who Boise State has left on the schedule. I mean, again, you gave up 23 points to Oregon if you don't count the 2 special teams touchdowns, which shouldn't go against the defense. So, but Zion Washington, how about a game that he had tonight? I think he had 10 tackles for Zion Washington on defense. Let me find the defensive stats here. Zion Washington had 10 tackles and a forced fumble. That was a huge forced fumble that helped Ashton Genty score the touchdown on the next play. Let's hear from Zion Washington after the game.
How big was that moment, man, where you guys are down, they got the ball, they're over midfield, and you forced the fumble to change the game? I mean, how big was that moment for you?
It was huge. It definitely was great to see smiles on everybody's faces and be able to bring energy back to the team in a huge moment. And then obviously we capitalized on it. You saw Ashton Genty with the long run. It's a great moment.
What's that like for you guys being roommates? In 10 seconds, you guys completely flipped that game on its head.
Yeah. It's huge. We love each other. We're gonna go back to the house and talk about it. It's always good to be able to have great connections off the field and then be able to come onto the field and do great things.
Tube goes out, you gotta wear the helmet communication. How much does that change things for you in the game?
It didn't change a whole lot because I practiced it. So I was ready for the moment. I've had it in my helmet during practices. So when I hear chins, it was just like practice.
You guys obviously made major improvements in a lot of areas defensively, third down, some other areas, but still couldn't get that final stop before the field goal. How do you kind of look at the good and bad of this one?
We're going to look at it and we're just going to grow from it. We have to play all 4 quarters. No matter how good we start, it's about finishing at the end of the day, and we're going to finish next time.
How close do you guys feel like you are on defense? I mean, a lot of the issues last week, for the most part, seem to be cleaned up tonight. And you guys got the game 4 times. That's almost as many sacks as Oregon allowed all last year. So how close do you feel like you guys are on defense?
We're very close. It's just a big shout out to Coach Chins. He gets us right in practice, and we were ready for the moment because of how he had us prepare this week, and we just got to grow on it.
You mentioned your play national, then you guys do it again, another fumble recovery. You take the lead. This place is silent there. At that point, just how do you guys feel when you have the lead there in the fourth quarter? It's
great because there's a big momentum switch right there. Being able to see all their fans quiet, that's a goal when you're going to an away game. And, it's just us being able to capitalize on opportunities.
And then they take the kickoff back right away on this thing. How much of a backbreaker was that where you have to lead for a minute or whatever it was?
It was no backbreaker because, we're able to respond in moments like that. Everybody was just like, let's go. We can't be down on that. Smile on our face. Let's get back to it.
I know you might not have contributed to some of it, but it feels like special teams was such a big emphasis this year. So, another way to ask is, how does that happen, I guess, with 2 special teams touchdowns in a game?
They're great returners. that's a great team that we're playing. Credit to them. And then when it comes down to us, it's just about making plays. So, when the moment comes, we just got to capitalize on it.
Obviously, it's a loss, but you come here number 7. What positives can you take away from this game?
Just knowing that we're going to grow from it and that we're going to be better from this game. It was a big moment. Obviously, losing this game means a lot to all of us because who wants to lose in a game like this? We come here for these games, and not being able to win is just we're going to be able to grow from every mistake that we made and make sure that doesn't happen again.
What did you tell the nation about the team? I know, like you said, obviously you coming so close to beating the number 7 team, you would want both of them. But what did you tell the nation with your effort taking them to the wire?
Just to know that we got dogs on our team too. No matter if we're quote unquote an underdog, whatever the media wants to say in those terms, we know that who we have is enough and our best is enough. So going out every game, just knowing that if we do our job the best of our ability, that we're going to get the win.
One or two more. You had 2 tough games, and now get a bye, and then you get 3 home games in a row. How nice is it going to be to be home for tomorrow?
It's going to be great because we love Bronco Nation, and we know we have their support. So being able to go put on a show for them is going to be huge.
Sorry, I think we just kind of look at last year's team and this year's team. It felt like a different team out there tonight. What do you think the biggest difference is that allows you to go blow for blow with the 7th-ranked team in the country this year? Is it mental? Is it physical? You guys had players rotating in. There was 0 drop-off. What is it about this team?
It's just a huge testament to the coaches. They instill confidence in us every day at practice, and we know that they have our backs, and we have brothers around us that we just love so much that we're going to do whatever it takes.
They got a chunk of their yards and a few explosive plays. What do you guys have to do to really shore that up?
That's just, it can be mental errors, it can be people's eyes, it just matters that we're going to be able to go watch the film and fix it for the next time.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
And there he is, Zion Washington, meeting with the media after the game. I see some of the trolls have infiltrated the chat here. Brian Browning being one of them. He's predicting 4 picks for Madsen against Portland State. Skyship wants to see Franklin Johnson Jr. Play next weekend with the secondary. Yeah, I saw him out there. We'll see if he we saw him out there. I mean, on the sidelines, not getting in the game, but I think he's an option. But Tubner, that really hurt. Mike Jesser, big question for me as a wide receiver room, lack of separation, key drops at times. Prince Strawn and Bolt, two that were struggled more than others. I think Prince Strawn finally got into the stat sheet today. He did. He had 1 catch on 5 targets. 5 times they tried to throw the ball to Prince Strawn. Only 1 time he caught the ball. That's not good enough. Let's see what else we got here in terms of the receiving group. Latrell Caples targeted 9 times, had 5 catches. Cam Camper, 7 targets, 4 catches. And then Austin Bolt, 5 targets, 2 catches. So and then Matt Lauder had 5 targets, 1 catch. So Prince Strawn, Austin Bolt, and Matt Lauder, there were 15 attempts thrown their way, and they only had 3 catches. So that's not ideal. Chris Marshall, somebody is asking about him. He did have 1 catch for 1 yard. He was out there, but not obviously doing much. That's 3 catches for him in his first 2 games as a Bronco. But they're going to have to do more in the passing game. Whoever brought up the separation, that's right. There was you're having to get more separation to be able to help out the quarterback a little bit. You heard Spencer Danielson say it. They need to get more going in the passing game, but it's not necessarily all on the quarterback. It's the easy thing to do, but the receivers have to go make some plays at time. As Andrew points out, Oregon's DBs are not bad. No, they're not. And so again, it's going to look great, you would assume, in 2 weeks when they play Portland State. So you would hope that it looks great against Portland State in 2 weeks, and then see what it looks like against Washington State the following week. That's going to be a much tougher test. The only 2 receivers that have looked good thus far is Camper and Caples. Want to see more from Marshall. overall, I think we were pretty excited about this wide receiving core being one of the strengths of the team. And I would say, particularly tonight, they certainly took a little bit of step back in that category. And again, I mean, a lot of us feel maybe Oregon's a little overrated. We'll see, but they do have a lot of talent, and they deserve a little credit too. So maybe Oregon had a little bit to do with the 23 incomplete passes that Boise State had. Camper is a dog. Chris Washburn says, yeah, he had 4 catches again. So he's got 8 catches for 151 yards in his first 2 games. He did have that nice touchdown catch as well. Have you got someone's commenting here about James Ferguson Reynolds? I don't know if you guys have talked about the punting or not. He had a really nice punt down to the 3 or 4 yard line at one point. But overall, there was a couple punts that were just not great, and particularly a couple that let them have returns. I mean, he did average 46.4 yards per punt, which is not bad. Most of that came on the 68 yarder that he had that I said that he got to fall out of bounds there at the 3 yard line. The coffin corner punt, as Sky Ship is saying, and he did have 2 punts inside the 20, so he's making the donations there for breast cancer. So hopefully that's something that I think is cool that he's doing, and hopefully you guys can match some of those donations and things like that. But he had a couple of great punts, but also a couple I didn't think were great, and allowing them to have the return obviously is, that can't happen, to give up an 85-yard punt return in that situation, which really did kind of change the game. That was a tough one. But see if there's any other stats. 25 carries for Ashton Genty, only 6 for Sire Gaines. No Breezy Dubar again. I saw him suited up. I thought he was going to play, but Breezy Dubar just must not be ready to go right now. So you have 25 carries for Genty. He goes for 192 and 3 touchdowns. Gaines only gets 6 carries. I mean, I guess you don't want to take Genty off the field, but I was a little surprised. I mean, I think the first play of the game, they had both those guys out there and gave it to Gaines. So he only gets 5 carries the rest of the way. 25 carries for Ashton Genty. But I'm not sure this team should be passing the ball more than it's running it. You have 40 pass attempts and only 33 rush attempts. I'm not sure that's probably the ratio that long-term Boise State wants to be in right now, at least. So when you have this running game that you can lean on, I think you probably need to be running the ball even more than they were. And, some of those times they're passing on first down, and then it's 2nd and 10 after an incomplete pass. So why do you think the kick return is coverage is struggling? Is it coaching? I mean, you heard Spencer Danielson. He obviously defended, Stacey Collins as being the top special teams coach in America. Just said they got to get it fixed and get the players to meet their one-on-one battles. A lot of times in those long returns, it's one guy missing the tackle, or one guy kind of missing his, getting blocked off his spot or whatever. And then next thing you know, it is what it is, and they're gone. So we'll watch. He said they'll watch the tape. I'm going to look forward to watch the tape as well sometime tomorrow evening, maybe on Monday with the bye week, to get a little bit of sleep tomorrow evening. But overall, yeah, I think that, this game came down to 2 special teams touchdowns, some big explosive plays in the passing game, and not being able for Boise State at times to make that big pass on third downs to move the chains. And really there at the end of the first half, I thought if Boise State could have got a touchdown, that would have changed the game and would have changed, a lot, if they would have not had to settle for a field goal there at the end of the first half. I don't know if you run it on 2nd down and then pass it or what, but when you have 5 seconds left, I mean, I think there's maybe enough time there. You can try to run one more play, or maybe at least try to punch it in there from the 3 yard line. But when you get all the way down there and you have a chance to go up double digits, and you have a chance, and then you get the ball to start the third quarter, I think that was a situation there late in the second quarter where Boise State certainly, you take the 3, but it would have been nice if you could have found a way to get 7 on that drive. And I thought that certainly was a tough one for Boise State. Someone asked about positives in the secondary. Again, you had Shayla Depot coming in, getting a sack. You had some other guys getting in there. Zion Washington is part of that secondary, stripping the ball. Andrew Simpson had the other strip, by the way. He deserves a little bit of credit as well. Rodney Robinson had 7 tackles. He played pretty well tonight. Ty Benefield was 6. He had a tackle, 1.5 tackles for loss. and also the fumble recovery for Ty Benefield as well. So I think that, again, comes down to me. The special teams touchdowns can't happen. The secondary has to limit the explosive plays, and offense just in key spots has to be able to complete that big third down pass, and it just didn't happen tonight. But kudos to the offensive line. They were down 2 guys, and they were able to still find a way to for the most part, play pretty well up front. I mean, it wasn't quite as good, and the holes weren't quite as big as last week against Georgia Southern, but Oregon's not Georgia Southern. So I thought that, all things considered, this offensive line down 2 starters deserves a lot of credit. So we've hit the 2-hour mark. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you guys for checking us out. If you missed any of the show, you can go back and watch it. All of our post-game interviews and the highlights are already up on the Bronco Nation News YouTube chat. Thank you to Jaden Finch for getting that posted. The news is not good from what I'm hearing. Don't expect to see Mason Randolph back anytime soon. We'll maybe know more on that tomorrow, but not expecting Mason Randolph to be back anytime soon, which is not a good sign. And haven't heard anything yet on Roger Carrion. Did see him down there in a boot with a big brace on his left foot. Left foot had a big boot on it, and he had crutches down there as well. So not looking good for Roger Carrion as well. But tough one for Boise State. A lot of reasons to still hold your head high. If you like the show tonight, we'd love for you to subscribe. It's $50 using that promo code BNN50 deal at the bottom of the screen, BroncoNationNews.com. $50 gets you a full year of Mike Prater's columns, my article from tonight's game that'll be behind the paywall. You get a daily email, some other great stuff as well. And I mentioned this before, but the Portland State game, we're going to make subscriber only. So pre and post game for Portland State. I know we're going to probably hurt our viewership by doing that, but we got to have some benefits to the subscribers. So if you don't want to miss out on the Portland State pregame or postgame shows, and the postgame show is going to have Kent Riddle, Brad Bedell over at the James, probably having a couple cold ones. You never know what's going to happen there. So subscribe now, $50. BNN50 deal is the promo code, and make sure you don't miss any of the pre and post game shows moving forward or any of our other great coverage. Again, BNN50 deal. At a minimum, if you can't afford that, we do have a $6.99 monthly option. But again, before you exit out of this, if you can hit that like button in the corner of the screen, we'd really appreciate that. It helps us show up higher in the algorithms and things like that. So like this video. If you're watching this and you found our channel and you're not a YouTube subscriber, some of you guys think you are, and then you look, oh, I realize I'm not a subscriber. So look down, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And we really appreciate all you guys for the comments and the interactions tonight. Well over 2 hours, well over 3,500 views already. I've got 2,000 Twitter views alone. We still have 178 of you watching on YouTube after a 2-hour live show. So thanks to Jaden Finch for helping us out here in Eugene. Thanks to Mike Sanford for kicking off the show and getting it started. But most importantly, thank you to all of our sponsors. This show would not be possible without all of our sponsors, and we've told you about all 13 of them. But we truly appreciate Andy Rowe and Rowe Painting, our title sponsor. Check out rowepaint.com, all your painting needs, and let the professionals handle it for you. And Western Collective as well. The Western Collective watch party was a lot of fun. I got some videos sent back of some of those Ashton Genty touchdowns, so they were having a lot of fun. And they gave away a $50 gift card to folks that signed up while they were there as well. So, again, appreciate Western Collective. Go check out the Horseshoe Golden Ale. The Blue and Orange Store, our title sponsor of this post-game show, Travis Hawks and Company. Travis Hawks and I have split a Survivor entry in the Circa Survivor contest tomorrow. We are rolling with the Cincinnati Bengals, folks. We got the Cincinnati Bengals in the Survivor contest for the $16 million prize, I think it is, or 14-something million. They got way over the $10 million guarantee, so the prize is going to be huge this year. And so hopefully Travis Hawks and I will win it, and we'll give you all a free year of coverage at BNN. How about that? So appreciate everybody for checking us out. Again, support the sponsors. Go use the sponsors. Post it on social media. If you go to Taco Bell or whatever you do, just please post it so we can show the sponsors that their advertising dollars are working. And again, we're going to write a story here and then head straight to the airport for our 5 a.m. flight to Seattle. We'll connect there and then fly to Boise, get back around 10 a.m. And then maybe a time for a short nap. We'll see. But then we've got Suns Little League game that I am the head coach for 2 o'clock this afternoon as well. So go Cincinnati Bengals. Let's get off to a nice start in Survivor here. Go subscribe again if you can. BNN50 deals the promo code. Subscribe on YouTube, all of our social media channels. Tell your friends. And appreciate all you guys for your support of Bronco Nation News. So tough one. Again, a lot to be, if you're a Boise State fan, a lot to like, a lot to be encouraged about moving forward. But certainly the final score is a tough one when you had a chance to win this game leading in the fourth quarter on the road against a top 10 team, and what that win might have meant for Boise State down the road certainly makes this a tough pill to swallow. But overall, a lot to like. I think Boise State's got a pretty darn good team, and they're not going to lose very many more games the rest of the season. So going to be a fun season, and obviously we'll have you covered every step of the way at Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com. So thanks again to Mike Sanford. Thanks to my wife, Karen Rains, for holding down the fort without the boys, without me there to help with the boys, and for her running the watch party over at Western Collective. Took the kids there, and they had a good time there again over at House of Western there and Bar National, and Tyler Shoemaker was there. It was a lot of fun. Those of you that watched the pregame show, I apologize for the audio and the signal issues and everything we had. Luckily, we were plugged into Ethernet here in the press box, and we may have to do that moving forward for the pregame show as well to make sure we don't have any issues. So again, thanks to all of our sponsors. Most importantly, thanks to you guys. Mike Sanford did a great job for the first hour if you want to go back and watch that. Have a great rest of your weekend. No press conference on Monday with this being a bye, so I'm not sure when we'll talk to the coaches next. Maybe not till the Monday at Portland State week. We'll see. But we'll have 9 a.m. with Mike Prater and I on Monday morning to recap this game and get his thoughts of what it means for Boise State and moving forward. So another full, fresh recap Monday at 9 o'clock with yours truly and your favorite Mike Prater, 9 a.m. on Monday. So thanks again. Thanks to Jaden. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to all you guys. Go support the sponsors. Go subscribe. And we'll see you Monday morning, 9 a.m. Read my story when you wake up, by the way. I'll have a full story online about this game, my thoughts, and we'll have some photos, videos, all that good stuff. So go watch the press conferences. Go watch the highlights. Read my story when you wake up. And we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News live from Autzen Stadium here in Eugene from the Western Collective Studios on behalf of our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. This has been the Blue and Orange Store postgame show. My name is B.J. Rains for Jaden Finch and everybody else at B&N. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll talk to you Monday at 9 with Mike Prater. Bronco Nation News live here at Bronco Nation News.